Good morning, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hold My Nuggets Incorporated for your 2019 NFL Week 12 pre-game analysis show. I am your host, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. And first and foremost, time is moving way too fast. I was not expecting to be at Week 12 at this point. Too much football has since passed. We need more football in our future. It's only a matter of time before we damn snap like it's Thanos at the end of Infinity War, and all of a sudden the Super Bowl is over. I don't want to deal with football moving this doggone fast. Somebody slow the time. Hit up Dio. Turn on the goddamn JoJo Bizarre Adventures. And slow down the time. It's moving too damn fast. But let's break down what's transpiring this coming week of football, starting on Thursday Night Football tomorrow. The Texans hosting the Indianapolis Colts. I think I may have come down with a cold. Whatever the case may have been, Texans coming off a brutal loss. The Colts coming off of a big AFC South win. Divisional win, I might add. So the Texans need to get themselves a W here. Notable injuries. Marlon Mack, I believe he suffered a fractured hand. Not sure if he's going to be able to play in time. Williams, his backup, did go over 100 yards last week. So that's a bright spot for the Colts, especially the Texans got shredded on the ground last week. And for the Texans, this isn't good for them. You had Mike Adams, Lonnie Johnson, Justin Reed, all not finished the game. Hell, I think Mike Adams suffered a concussion before the game even started. So in their secondary, that's not looking too good. All right, their defense got absolutely destroyed on the ground, and then now you got three pieces who are supposed to be there to stop, quarterbacks from being able to attack through the air, and they're most likely, well, there's no word on whether they'll play or not thus far. I believe some was questionable, others is downgraded, doubtful. Whatever the case is, right now I got the Colts winning this game on the road in Houston. Jacoby Brissett is back. He played very good last week. It wasn't anything spectacular, but he played well, and now with Marlon Mack probably not being able to play, they're going to put more onus on Brissett, and I don't have fear about Brissett anymore. I feel confident in his talent. Now Watson can pull a miracle out of his buttocks, all right? DeAndre Hopkins, it's been high time since we saw this man go and, destroy a defense for like 200 yards or 170 yards, so I expect him to have a good game too, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat this Colts team. I think the Colts mess around and win this game and extend their lead in the AFC South. Next, the Bucs traveling to take on the Falcons. Jameis Winston ended the last game in which he threw 4 interceptions with a little bit of an ankle injury, but it says it's not going to ail him to not play. I guess Bucs fans are upset, like, damn it, Jameis going to play again. But I got the Falcons winning. Ever since Matt Ryan has returned, Falcons been rolling. They've been playing well these past couple of weeks. They're taking care of business. Julio looks good. Calvin Ridley looks good. There's still not too much of a run game. I guess Hill has to get going. But regardless, that passing attack is no joke. Defensively, they played well, especially being able to stifle Carolina last week. Nobody saw that coming. So if they can do that to Carolina, there's no question in my mind they can do that to this Bucs team with Jameis Winston, who has a high propensity to turn the football over. The Falcons just caught 4 interceptions last week. Jameis just threw 4 interceptions last week. 4-4 is about to be Wendy's 4 for 4 this Sunday because they're fixing to catch 4. I got the Falcons winning at home, and on top of that, they in Georgia. You think they're gonna lose in Georgia? I don't think so. Next, the Broncos at least lose in Georgia against the Bucs. They've lost in Georgia before, but the Broncos traveling to go take on the Buffalo Bills. Now, for this particular game, the Broncos don't have Andy Yankovic. I believe he just got hurt. He's probably not going to be there. So for Philip Lindsay, that's not going to look too good. You need your fullback to help in opening up those holes. Philip Lindsay ain't been running too spectacular this season anyway. So I expect the Bills to go and take care of business. Now, we saw the Broncos go up 20-0 against a very good team in the Vikings. So you never know. Things can surprisingly happen. But the way the Bills are playing right now, especially their defense, I have confidence they'll be able to shut down that run of the Broncos and give Brandon Allen a very tough day because throwing against the Bills is not really that easy. They have some great young talent over there in their secondary. I expect them to take care of business, defeat these, the Denver Broncos, traveling from Mile High and send them back on their high horse over to Colorado with that L. I'm rolling with the Bills to win this game, and more importantly, you can run the football. Granted, last week against the Broncos, you did not see too much Dalvin Cook because he fell, or I should say, the Vikings fell behind early. So since they fell behind early, you got to somewhat abandon the pass game, which I don't usually always agree with, but I understand. On this particular time, the Bills is a team that will run the ball regardless of when they're winning, whether they're losing, and more importantly, Josh Allen will use his legs. So I expect to see that run game flourish, rolling with the Bills to win this game at home. Giants taking on the Bears. Who knows what the hell's going to happen at quarterback with Mitch Trubisky. Last year, Giants and Bears was a very good game. It was a very good game down to the wire. This particular year, I expect the same thing to happen. However, I think that Bears defense is going to make their nuts hang. They're going to show up. They're going to take care of some business. Khalil Mack, he's done well, but nothing that he's done this season has made you turn your head the same way last season. But granted, the Bears ain't winning the same, so whatever the hell he does on the field, it's not going to hit the same way. But I think this game, you see that defense let their nuts hang once again and remind you, hey, we still are a very, very good defense. Our offense is just trash. And I expect this offense for the Bears to run the football and bounce back against this Giants team. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a tough task for the Bears with the Saquon Barkley because damn well for some apparent reason this man will bounce back. He's going to start dodging tackles left and right. More importantly, in the pass game, I think that's where he's going to get his bread and butter this particular game. On the run game, I think he's going to get shut down. But dump off, hooks and curls, flare up, all those other things, he's going to flourish. I think he's going to have at least 80 yards receiving. But I think the Bears will walk away with a W here. I think they get a couple of picks off of Danny Dimes, force a couple of fumbles. I think they're going to get 5 turnovers. That's my bold prediction. 5 turnovers for this Bears defense, and the Chicago Bears walk away with a W. In the Windy City they're playing. Yes, they are. They're playing at home against this traveling Giants team. Next, Dolphins taking on the Browns. This should be an easy one for Cleveland. They're at home. You're taking on a Dolphins team that just lost again. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he actually didn't turn the football over like that, but you got an opportunistic defense in the Browns that just had 4 INTs against Mason Rudolph and the Steelers this past week. However, in the wake of everything that transpired last game, who knows how Cleveland comes out. Offensively, I have no concern for them being able to run the football against the Dolphins. This should be the game in which you see Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, they both combined for over 35 carries. That's what it should be. Run the damn football. The more that they throw it, I have a little bit of concern. Just a little bit of concern. Not to say that Baker Mayfield doesn't have what it takes, but something about this Dolphins defense, I don't know why. They were able to get Brian Hoyer 3 times. Not to say Hoyer is better than Mason Rudolph. Oh, I said Mason Rudolph. Not to say Hoyer is better than Baker Mayfield. But for some apparent reason, I don't know, this Dolphins team, in my mind, I keep hearing voices in my head, no Randy Orton, tell me, yo, that Dolphins team, they're going to take Mason Rudolph and make sure that he cooks some, I said Mason Rudolph, tell Baker Mayfield to cook some apple turnovers. And for some apparent reason, I feel like that could be the case. I think Baker Mayfield throws 2 INTs. But I don't think it's going to be enough for the Dolphins to mess around and win this game. I think Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, they're going to combine for over 200 yards rushing and walk away with this W. Defensively, I think they're going to get Ryan Fitzpatrick a couple of times. Maybe 1 forced fumble, 2 INTs. I got the Browns winning this game at home, and maybe this is the game in which Odell Beckham has that virtuoso performance. Who knows? I told you, it's like a ticking time bomb. You've been waiting on it to happen. I think this is going to be the game that it happens. I got the Browns winning this game at home. Panthers taking on the Saints. Saints bouncing back last week with a very good win and against the Bucs. I'll say this much. I'd love to say the Panthers gonna walk into New Orleans and walk out with a W. I can't feel it. I just don't feel it. They're gonna shut down Christian McCaffrey. And then it's on Kyle Allen, who just threw 4 INTs last week. And again, the Saints caught 4 INTs last week. Sorry, gotta roll New Orleans. Gotta roll New Orleans. I think Alvin Kamara is going to have a great game. I cannot envision a circumstance in which anybody on that Carolina front can guard Michael Thomas, because he's been killing everybody all season. That's going to continue. That pass rush for the Carolina Panthers is virtually non-existent. I don't expect them to be able to get to Drew Brees' Jesus. I think he finds the Jared Cooks. I think he finds the Michael Thomas. I think he finds the Alvin Kamaras. I think he finds the Ted Ginn all day and continues to be as efficient as he always is and rolls to a victory. For the Carolina Panthers, this is going to be one of those head scratchers that I believe that they continue to look like, damn, maybe we shouldn't have done what we did when it came to Cam. And how, you know, the audience, or I should say the fan reaction or the internal feel from the organization, yo, we got our guy, Carolina's our guy. And now all of a sudden, man faces adversity. Everybody's looking over their shoulder like, shoot, maybe we moved too doggone fast. Let's pump the brakes real quick. But I got the Saints winning this game at home. Raiders traveling to take on the New York Jets. Trap game. Trap game. This should be no issue for the Raiders winning this game. All right, defensively, they have been stepping up over the course of the past 3 weeks, creating turnovers, stifling offenses. Offensively, they have been running the football very effectively. Derek Carr has made good decisions with the football, but something about this Jets team I don't understand. Sam Darnold had like 3 weeks where this man played like utter trash. This past week, 4 TDs through the air. Great game for him. Le'Veon Bell hasn't really had that sensational game yet. God, I feel like this is the one that the Raiders going to let get away. I want to say the Raiders going to win. Believe me, I do. I want to believe in those Gruden grinders, but something in my soul is saying upset alert. I think the Jets might pull this one off. I think they might just pull this one off. I think Robbie Anderson might have one of those 80 or 70 yard bombs, 66 yard bombs for a touchdown. Crowder might be killing people in the slot left and right. I think Darnold will utilize the intermediate passing to throw for over 400 yards. Le'Veon Bell on the ground probably gets 80, but then gets another 80 through the air. Scores 2 touchdowns at least for this Jets front. I don't think Carr is going to become a turnover machine, but I think there'll be situations in which he fumbles. Not trying to dive into the end zone, leading to a touchback, but maybe that Jets front gets to him. And the Raiders O-line has been balling, but I don't know. I'm feeling it right now. I'm feeling the Jets going to pull off the upset. This can change by Sunday, but right now I think I'm going to roll with the Jets to win this. I wish I could explain it more in depth, but sometimes you just feel that upset alert. And I've been wrong sometimes. I've been right. More wrong than right this season. I'm rolling with the Jets to win this game. If I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong. I apologize, because those Raiders are some Gruden grinders. Next, Lions traveling to take on the Redskins in a game that is unfortunate. First and foremost, I'm not sure if Stafford's going to play right now. I haven't really heard any words, so it might just be Driscoll moving forward until we do get the confirmation that Stafford is returning. For the Redskins, again, we don't know what to expect from Dwayne Haskins. What's going to be the deal? What can he bring to this organization when it comes to passing? I haven't seen anything that's made me, wow, I haven't seen anything yet. On the ground, I believe you can run. Although Zeke only had, I think, 47 yards last week, it was nothing impressive. But I'd expect to see a heavy dose of Adrian Peterson and Darius Guice. I'd like to see them get the ball at least 12 to 15 times apiece, because I don't expect this game to be high scoring whatsoever. But if Jeff Driscoll can utilize the deep ball and take advantage of one Josh Norman, make this happen, the Lions can walk away with a W here. But I think the Redskins going to hold it down at home. I think they're going to hold it down. I think the ground game is going to be activated, and it'll be too much for the Lions, in which they'll lose the time of possession battle. Dwayne Haskins will play very conservative, have the manager of the game sort of feel, but probably end the day with 3 touchdowns. So I got the Redskins winning. For the Lions, I expect Marvin Jones to have a very good game. I expect Kenny Golladay to have a very good game. But I don't think it's going to be enough to defeat the Washington Redskins. I think they're going to have a good game at home. I don't know why. I just feel like this is going to be the best outing for Dwayne Haskins. It's not going to be anything that makes your eyes pop. But when you look at the statistics after the game and you see Son is probably like 17 for 24, 200 and game, 74 yards and 3 TDs and no INTs, you're going to sit there like, oh, wait a minute, this guy must have been balling, whoa. But if you watch the game, you'll see, hey, it was a check down here, ooh, a couple of deep balls here, all of this over here, broken coverages from the Lions. But I got the Redskins winning this game at home. Jags taking on the Titans. These games is always a good AFC South matchup, but historically, for some apparent reason, the Titans always have the Jags number. The Jags simply cannot beat the Titans. All right? So I'm rolling with the Titans to win this game. All right? I expect on the ground. Once again, last week, in the return of Foles, you did not see too much from Leonard Fournette, and they need Fournette to ball on the ground if they want to make that offense move. The Titans always figure out a way to beat the Jags. It just is what it is, and it's going to continue. Whether it's Tannehill, whether it's Mariota, whether it's Steve McNair, whether it's Kerry Collins, whether it's Vince Young, whether it's freaking you could even call on Dan Pastorini. It doesn't matter who is leading the Titans. He played for the Oilers. But it doesn't matter who is running that organization. They're going to figure out a way to beat the damn Jags. And once again, I expect Derrick Henry to have a very good game. On the ground, you just saw the Jags squander over 200 yards. Who's calling me? That might be somebody from Jacksonville. It might be the people calling, hey, remember when we was good 2 years ago? Don't forget that. Well, Pepperidge Farm remembers. And guess what? I don't give a damn. We talk about 2019, and last week against the Colts, you gave over 200 yards rushing. So I expect that same thing to happen this particular week. And Derrick Henry does what he did last year, not run for a 99-yard touchdown, but rub his nutsack on your defense and have the crowd cheering, Henry, 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 Henry. And then sexual chocolate's going to come out. Mark Henry's going to be like, wait a minute, you guys weren't calling for me? I expect the Titans to walk away with this W over the Jags. I think Nick Foles will not be necessarily flustered. I think he'll have a good game, but I think they're still going to lose by 2 touchdowns. Rolling with the Tennessee Titans to win this game. Cowboys playing against the New England Patriots. First and foremost, before we even break down them boy, Lyle Collins got hurt. Not sure if he's going to be available to play thus far. I think they said it's questionable. So we'll see. That's pivotal because you just saw this Patriots team get 5 sacks and more importantly shut down the run game of the Eagles. And for the Cowboys, they need that run game because if it comes a pass attack from Dak Prescott, Bill Belichick gonna take advantage. He gonna make Dak Prescott look like Mason Rudolph. He gonna make Dak Prescott look like Kyle Allen. He gonna make Dak Prescott look like Jameis Winston. He gonna make Dak Prescott look like Phillip Rivers. And what do all those 4 quarterbacks have in common? This past week, they threw 4 INTs. That's what's fixing to happen if it becomes the Dak show against the Patriots. Now, granted, we've seen some great performances from players against the Patriots before. But where's this game being played? Foxborough. It's tough for your young quarterbacks to go into Foxborough and walk out with a W. All right? It's always going to be hard. And this will be no different. I expect the Patriots to win this game because their defense will win this game. Offensively, I don't expect their offense to shred this Dallas defense. I don't expect the Patriots to be able to run effectively. I think Dallas will shoot themselves in the foot on 3rd down with offside penalties, defensive holding penalties, illegal hands to the face penalties. I think they're going to get bailed out a lot. I should say the Patriots will be bailed out a lot on 3rd down from penalties. I think Dallas will shut down the run game. I'll say that much. That linebacking core, I believe in them 110%. I think they'll shut down the run game. But the passing game and people like Julian Edelman, that's going to come back to kill them. And I'll point this out. For the Patriots, Philip Dorsett got hurt. Not sure if he's going to play at all. So their wide receiving core is depleted. Who knows what's going to happen when down the line if the Patriots will go out and maybe sign AB or bring in another receiver because they need that depth. But I still think they will have enough to beat this Cowboys team. Defensively, I think that's what will win it for. I think they probably get a pick 6. They mess around and take a fumble to the house. They'll constantly get turnovers that put them into Cowboys territory that will set up field goals. Now I'll say this much. If Nick Foles goes out there and loses the game to the Patriots, when I tell you I'm going to lose my mind on this upcoming commentary, you might fans of my commentary, or I should say supporters, because I'm not a big fan of the word fans, go out there and root for the Cowboys, but root for the Cowboys to force the Patriots to kick field goals. And when Nick Folk goes out there, you better pray he misses, because if you want to be entertained, that's where the entertainment is. But I think the Patriots have enough to walk away with the W here. I think the Cowboys' run game will be shut down. It'll become the Prescott show. He'll throw for a good number of yards, but he won't have a very good performance. I think he'll mess around and throw 3 picks. I got the Patriots winning this game at home. 49ers hosting the Packers. Big game. Game of the week. Initially, my game of the week was the Cowboys and Pats. But then seeing how the 49ers played this entire season and knowing the Packers coming off of I think it's a bye week. Yes, coming off of a bye week. They didn't play this week. So this is my game of the week. The Packers traveling to San Fran, into Santa Clara, to Levi Stadium, taking on those 49ers. I got the Packers winning. I got the Packers winning. On the ground, I expect Jamal Williams, I expect Aaron Jones to both run for over 50 yards, giving them over 100 yards on the ground combined. All right? I expect Aaron Rodgers to completely shred this 49ers defense. Aaron Rodgers shows up in big games, man. I don't care what nobody says. He's a big-time quarterback. He's going to get it done. We've seen the offensive woes of the 49ers thus far over the course of the past weeks. This past week, I should say, against the Cardinals, you didn't see too much of that. They started slow, but Jimmy G got stuff going. When that run game wasn't the best, he pulled out of his ass a 400-yard, 4-touchdown comeback win. That was big for them. I don't think that's going to happen this week against the Packers. I expect Aaron Rodgers to walk in to Levi Stadium and put the league on notice. Like, yo, wait a minute. You talk about top MVP candidates and my name's not there? Let me remind you who the hell I am. I think he's going to go and lead this Packers team to thrash the 49ers. I would have loved to say it's going to be a close game, entertaining. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this is going to be a beat down. I got the Packers winning this game. For the 49ers, I think Jimmy G's going to struggle. I think he's going to throw a couple to the opposing team. I think it's going to be maybe 2 INTs on the day. I don't expect the run game to get going. Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, Raheem Mostert. I don't think they do anything on the day. I think the 49ers defense shows holes. I think they're going to sack Aaron Rodgers maybe once. He'll probably get hit maybe about 4 times. But I just got the Packers rolling over the 49ers. Not to hate on the 49ers, because I've been picking against them a lot this season. But something about Aaron Rodgers against Jimmy G, big time game. Most people are leaning towards the 49ers, making the Packers the underdog. I got the Packers walking in and walking out with a big W and putting the league on notice. Sorry, San Francisco fan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am sorry. This is not no, you man, the 49ers trash. I don't believe they trash. I believe they are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and I believe they can make a playoff push. But this game, I feel in my soul. I feel it in my soul. I may be wrong, but right now, I doubt it. I got the Packers winning this game on the road. Seattle Seahawks taking on the Eagles. Seahawks winning this game. Lane Johnson hurt. The goddamn Eagles offense continues to struggle. Drop footballs. The run game is so goddamn inconsistent. One game they run good, the next game they don't. Defensively, they showed up against the Patriots, but you're playing against a whole different animal with leading MVP candidate in Russell Wilson. I think this run game for Chris Carson and the Seahawks can get going to where they run for at least 70 yards between just, Chris Carson getting the football, Rashad Penny, who knows if they're going to give him the ball after all those costly fumbles. I should say costly fumble against the 49ers. It was only one time. Russell Wilson, he knows how to use his legs, and it's very tough to, stop those quarterbacks who can be mobile, who can scramble. But I'm a little bit concerned about the decision-making of DK Metcalf. Can he protect the football? This is something that is necessary if the Seattle Seahawks want to win this game. For the Eagles, they just got to figure out how the hell to make those big plays that they made tail end of last year with Nick Foles and 2 years ago with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. They've just failed to make big plays all year. They need those big plays, and guys got to step up. Defensively, they shocked me with their performance last week. But I don't think it's going to be enough to stop the Seahawks. I got the Seahawks winning this game. I think they're going to run the ball well through the air. I expect to see Russell Wilson do what he always does, pull a damn performance out of his ass, whether it's Jacob, Hollister, whether it's Tyler Lockett, who I'm not sure if, I believe he'll be healthy at this point, because he did not, he got knocked out of the game 2 weeks ago against the 49ers. DK Metcalf, whoever his pieces are, Russell Wilson finds a way to make it happen. I think he walks into Lincoln Financial Field and walks out with a W on Sunday night. I believe this game is on Sunday night. Monday night, the Rams taking on the Ravens. That's going to be a good game. In the Coliseum, where the Ravens is traveling to take on the Rams. And granted, everybody knows in LA, there's no loyalty. So I don't expect that crowd to be a Rams crowd. I expect it to be a Baltimore Ravens crowd. And I think the Ravens going to go and take care of business. Offensively, the Rams continue to struggle. It's not like they're having sensational games when they're winning games. They're not. And because they're not playing the same offense that they've been playing before, the Ravens going to win. Ravens going to win. That defense, I think, and on top of that, this is Juice Man, Mr. Marcus Peters, returning back to LA to play against his former team in the same doggone season. I think he gets Goff one time to take it to the house. But at the same time, I think Ramsey gets Lamar Jackson one time. And I don't think he takes it to the house, but I think he gets Lamar Jackson one time. I don't expect that pass game to do the same damage that it's been doing, but I don't see the tight ends being covered. So Mark Andrews, he's going to have himself a good game. The other tight end, I forget his name, he's going to have a good game as well. And on the ground, I believe you can run against this Rams defense. You should be able to run, and they will continue to run. I expect the Baltimore Ravens to rely on that and get over 150 yards and continue to lead the league in rushing. It's either them or Buffalo, but I do believe that the Ravens are still leading the league in rushing. 2 weeks ago when they played against the Patriots, they were averaging 200 yards per doggone game. There's no way anybody was close. So I expect them to go out there and do that. This is going to be one of those games in which Lamar Jackson looks more like a mobile QB than actual passing QB. Although he's been doing that all season. I'm talking about like he'll have more rush yards than pass yards. But I would not be surprised if by the second half, all of those rushing yards that he has now opens up the play action fake, whether it's a fake of him booting and everything, and then he eclipses his passing total. But I think by the end of the first half, he'll have more rush yards than pass yards. And then in the second half, he'll open up the playbook for him and then start to connect on more. But I have the Ravens walking into the Coliseum and walking out with a W. And last but not least, the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in the wake of the suspensions. Marquise Pouncey being gone for 3 games. So that'll be tough on the offensive line, but still the Bengals continue to struggle when playing. They haven't won a game all doggone season. I don't expect this to be the first game for them to win. Granted, they're playing at home, but the offensive struggles continue. They turned the football over offensively, and last week against the Raiders, you saw them score an opening touchdown, or I should say score in the first quarter, but after that they were virtually non-effective with only scoring on a field goal. This Steelers defense is legit. I expect them to go out there and catch a couple of picks off of Finley. Maybe even take them to the house. Minka is the best offensive option, and no, I did not say that incorrectly. He is the best Steelers offensive option when it comes to putting points on the board or putting the team in the position to put points on the board. I expect this defensive line or outside linebacking core of Bud Dupree and TJ Watt to get to the Bengals, continue to stifle that offense and force, the time of possession to be like 35 minutes. Now, granted, nobody knows what the availability of James Conner will be. Juju Smith-Schuster is still in the protocol. Deontay Johnson's in the protocol. Limited pieces. Mason Rudolph should have been suspended. Whatever the case may have been, I think Vance McDonald has a huge game. The Steelers, regardless of who's playing at running back, they're going to be able to run the football, and they must rely on that. So defense will put points on the board. That run game will be able to work for them. And I got the Pittsburgh Steelers walking into Cincinnati, walking out with a W. I don't expect for the Bengals to have a sensational game with Joe Mixon. I think he'll be shut down because Pittsburgh understands he is really their only offensive option and force their rookie quarterback to try to beat him. And damn it, you got a good secondary this year. I expect them to intercept them and walk away with the W. So those have been my picks. But let me tell you, I dropped my doggone paper. Let me tell you who my picks are for this week. Once again, just run it down the list. Thursday Night Football, I got the Colts taking down the Texans. Then on Sunday, I got the Falcons beating the Bucs. The Bills beating the Browns. The Bills beating the Broncos. The Bears beating the Giants. The Steelers beating the Bengals. The Browns beating the Dolphins. The Saints beating the Panthers. The Jets beating the Raiders. Redskins beating the Lions. Titans beating the Jags. Patriots beating the Cowboys. Packers beating the 49ers. Seahawks beating the Eagles. Ravens beating the Rams. And this has been your 2018-2019 NFL Week 12 pregame analysis show. I have been your host. Cut off at the right time. The diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual. The Chiseled Adonis. Enjoy your Wednesday.